confirmation of the agenda as amended. There's an added the petition under 12.1, and there's closed session property standards update, as well as what was previously on it. Do I have a mover? Deputy Reeve Campbell, Councillor Hallahan. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And disclosure of pecuniary interest, if any? None noted. Okay, moving to the consent agenda. Is there any items councillors would like to see pulled out for extra discussion? Dwayne, did you want to mention the 4.3.1, the invitation from Social Research and Planning Council?
Sure, so we received an invitation from the Social Research and Planning Council to a community consultation about how much is enough impact on low incomes on families and communities in Perth and Huron counties. It's being held Tuesday, October the 16th from 1 to 4 in the Blythe Theatre in the lower hall in Blythe. So just, is there anything more?
Just so that you're aware of that you are invited if it fits your schedule, but okay. If there isn't anything to be pulled out, do I have a move for the consent agenda? Councillor Stewart and Councillor Ritzma-Taninga. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. No delegations. Okay. In reports, there's 6.2.1. Can Councillor Sipe give us a little more information on that?
Yes, thank you, Reeve. So this is, what I am going to do is I am going to put a motion in to defer this. This motion is to move some money from the police budget reserve into the current year budget to cover off some legal costs with regards to SIU police investigations that the officers are a part of, as well as which a part of our agreement allows them to go and seek legal services in order to for during those types of interviews and stuff. So we've had 2 officers that have had those consultations with the SIU and the OPP. So therefore, they've asked for legal counsel to communicate those. The chief has provided these invoices to the Police Services Board at the time. It was last week we got these invoices. We're in the midst of between meetings, the Police Services Board. So the fact that the invoices are dated September the 25th, the Police Services Board is in no rush to go and write these checks. So the Police Services Board, I've asked Donna as well as Barb that we should defer this till the Police Services Board has a chance to review what they want to do. Do they want to bring it at a reserve? That would be the ideal. But if it is the Police Services Board's budget, they should make that call on whether they want to recommend that or not. So we will, I've asked Mandy to put this on the agenda for the October Police Services Board meeting. Once that recommendation is given by the board, it will come back to council with regards to that to request. But at this point, it's really, that's the kind of the 9,000 feet discussion about what the request is going to be if the Police Services Board decides that's the important. But I thought it was the better that the Police Services Board have that conversation first, as opposed to vice versa, where we make the motion to move it and the Police Services Board has a discussion later. That doesn't sound right because it is the Police Services Board's budget.
Okay.
So I would make a motion to defer this until the council meeting after
the Police Services.
It would be, yeah, it'll be the first meeting in November.
Okay, you have that. And I'm taking that as a motion from you. Are you seconding
Yes,
it? That's fine. Further discussion, if any? All in favor? Carried. Have you got that? Okay. Six point 22 bills and accounts. You're moving?
Well,
Or
I'm
a
moving,
question.
I am moving, however, I just wanted to make note to the rest of council that those legal fees are included in these bills and accounts, and they're gonna be taken out of that, my
Okay.
motion, so I'll make the motion to accept the bills and accounts as reported, except for, I believe it is, check number 05020, which is to, Leo Canahan BA, and it's in the amount of $16,215.50.
Okay. I have the motion. Deputy Reeve Campbell seconds it. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Carried. 6.2.3, that clerks and treasurers had an impact presentation. Donna, do you want
Sure.
to go through it a little bit, please?
Yes, thank you, Reeve. So the main slide that I'd like to bring your attention to is the slide number 8, which is the new assessment forecast. So the new assessment forecast slide reiterates one of our main concerns, which is the lack of assessment growth in North Huron. And as you know, new growth is the way that you grow the tax base, which helps offset our costs. So North Huron has the lowest forecasted assessment growth in the county, and some of the other lower tiers are seeing significant growth, some as high as 20 million, where only we are looking at 2.5 million as at September 24th. So we've had a historical lack of growth for several reasons. One of which is that we don't have the land to build on. And the second is that there's been no action on the A2A development, which was mentioned the other night at one of the public meetings. So the new development in Blythe is very encouraging, and it's crucial that we continue to work with A2A to either find a way to get some houses built on that land or refocus our efforts into another area such as Hutton Heights. So again, we just wanted to reiterate what you already know, that our assessment forecast for growth historically has been very low, which has contributed to some of our higher taxes and the lack of building lots and new residential growth. So that was the main focus of the slide presentation that we wanted to make sure that we discussed tonight. So is there any other questions?
Well, basically, that was just bringing it forward for information, so thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and in the Recreation and Facilities Department, 6.3.1, the Wingham Trailer Park Operating Agreement, Dwayne, going through that.
Yep, thanks, Reeve. So as council is aware, we have an agreement whereby the Legion entered into agreement with us from January the 1st of 2015 to December 31st of 2018 to operate the trailer park. And that's been a very good arrangement in partnership with the Legion. The Legion has asked in terms of what council's intentions are with respect to the agreement, and are interested in extending that arrangement. So what we're recommending is the extension of that partnership arrangement with the Legion for 1 year until December 31st of 2019. The same terms and conditions, everything that's in the agreement will remain in place. We would just be extending it for a 1 year period, provide an opportunity to review the partnership arrangement in terms of staff bring back a report perhaps with changes or recommendations to that, or in terms of looking at the trailer park as a whole in terms of what council's wishes are with respect to that. So the recommendation is to extend that partnership arrangement for a 1-year period.
Councillor Vauden first.
Does our lame duck status in any way affect our freedom of action on this issue?
That we're well below the dollar limit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I
Okay.
think that's the short answer, that we can direct on this. Councillor
I
Ritzman-Taninga.
was just gonna move it.
Okay, done. Ray, you're seconding it?
Yes.
Okay. Councillor Syed.
I just would like to make a comment that I think this is actually a good move on council's part, but also with the new council coming in, that would allow them at least also to understand the arrangement, look at the agreement. Maybe they had some thoughts or impact on what this may look like. They may have some other thoughts as well. So I think it's an important part that, we're getting the benefit, the Legion's getting the benefit, but also in the neighborhoods of 1 year, it allows a new council can come in and not have to worry about this particular arrangement right off the get-go, but allow them some time and staff to come back with some recommendations that maybe want to see change as opposed to what we have currently. So I support the extension.
Okay. Anybody else want to comment? All in favor of the motion? Carried. Okay, moving to Public Works, 6.4.1, North Huron Water System Surveillance Audit. Sean, please.
Yes, thank you, Reeve Vincent. This is before council as a bit of an administrative exercise as well as for your information. The Safe Drinking Water Act requires that all municipal water systems be operated by an accredited operating authority. Now, to become accredited, there's a number of criteria, but one of the requirements is that they develop and maintain what's called a quality management system, which is integrated into an operational plan. This is a massive document that basically looks at all facets of the operation, what they do, how they do it, who's responsible. It's a very detailed document that requires ongoing maintenance and upkeep. There's a number of audits that are done annually. They do an internal audit, they do a management review, and then there's also a surveillance audit that's done. That's a third party that's been authorized by the Ministry of the Environment and Climate Change to look at the operational plan and to make sure that the operating authority is doing what they say they do. So basically, it's our requirement to bring this, Veolia has gone through the exercise, we have to bring it to council to make sure that council is aware that the surveillance audit did take place. They are very happy to report that there were no major or minor non-conformances with the operational plan. There were 4 opportunities for improvement, and that's not something to be alarmed over. By virtue of its design, the operational plan must go through continuous improvement. So not only can they internally make their own suggestions to build on the plan, but the external auditors will look at it and point out opportunities for them to bolster and enhance the document. So basically, there were 4 items that were identified. One was under management of records. During the management review that I referenced, that internal audit that's done by Veolia, there were certain agenda items. The agenda items are all very clearly identified and reviewed year after year. It was suggested by the auditor that even if there was no change from the last audit, it should at least be carried forward, or that particular item should be carried forward and identified as unchanged. So they've made amendments to their program, so that's being done. The operational plan has revision numbers on each of the various pages. And one of the pages is the endorsement signature page where the Reeve would sign off at the beginning of the term of council, accepting the plan. One of the things they picked up on is the revision for the overall document. That revision number wasn't current, so that's the detail that they look at this. It's very administrative in its function. Generator run parameters, although the runs were being done, the operational plan didn't specifically identify which parameters they were recording, even though they were recording them. So the document now has been changed to capture that. And then they also noted, the auditor noted that the schematics for well number 5 didn't include the generator. So those changes are underway. And now the only thing that Veolia has asked now is that council validate this whole process by receiving this report so that they can file that and show that it was brought forward to
Addressed.
council.
Okay. Do I have a mover to us receiving it? Deputy Reeve Campbell, Councillor Vladden. Is there any discussion on this? Maybe it's my mind, but on the NSF International Strategic Registrations, I hope there's some other explanation of NSF other than non-sufficient funds.
That's correct, but I believe that it stands for National Sanitation Foundation. It certainly isn't NSF as a non-sufficient fund.
Okay, all in favor of the motion? Carried. Okay, and 6.4.2, the organizational hierarchy, public works and properties. We'll go back to Sean for this one.
Thank you, Reeve. This might be a little more detailed and voluminous than the last report. This is kind of the culmination of a lot of the review that was done through the course of the summer after our Director of Recreation departed. The CAO took the time to really look at the operation. There was a lot of discussions at SMT as well as meetings with staff to try to figure out if there were ways that we could optimize the operation, either to, or specifically to get more efficiency out of the operation. One of the things that we noted through the process was a lot of synergies between public works and facilities operation. And by operation, I mean the bricks and mortar, the electrical. There was always some sharing of resources, some working together, and it was determined through quite a bit of discussion that it would be a good fit for public works. Specifically not putting the responsibility on the bin, but falling under the department as an additional function of the Director of Public Works with assistance of the operations supervisor. So part of the recommendation for council is that facilities piece, which I've been referring to as properties, fall under this department. The other thing we noticed was that there seemed to be a little bit of disconnect with regards to parks and green spaces. Specifically, there were some functions that were being overseen by Public Works. There were some functions that were being overseen by a rec. There were situations where people were crossing or passing each other on the highway type of a thing. And when we looked at that, it seemed to be a very good opportunity to consolidate those two groups of people under one person so that there was a higher level of accountability. I think with accountability comes quality. It would allow us the opportunity to really clearly define requirements, to relay concerns and complaints as they come in, and to basically bring the quality of operation in the parks and green spaces up to a very good standard, and to the standard that our ratepayers, I think, are expecting of us. The org chart in front of council shows how we would achieve that, partially through restructuring and moving individuals around, partially through the consolidation of, and this is the big piece, consolidation of some seasonal employees to create one lead hand whose sole responsibility is parks and properties. It's a format that I'm familiar with and that has worked for me in the past. And again, I think that it's critical that there's that single point of accountability. So if there is problems, we know it's funneling through one individual to to our operations superintendent and to the director level. I don't know if there's any more detail that council needs at this point in time. If there's questions, I'm happy to answer them. I would, and as you can see in the recommendations, I would like the opportunity to kind of speak more to the consolidation piece, but would request that we go into closed session simply because, if we're going to be talking about identifiable individuals, it would be appropriate to do it in that venue.
Deputy Reeve Campbell.
To read to you, Sean. So next year's trailer park report would come through you rather than the rec department, or is that still going to be separate from, it's park, but it's just a question.
Yeah, and it's a very good question. These are the details that we need to work through. I would see the park report coming through my department because it deals with the maintenance and the upkeep.
Mhm.
If you were into bookings for, say the library or a rec center, if there was a special group that was putting something on that required setting up and tearing down of tables, that falls under rec. Any of the scheduling, booking,
Yeah,
set up, tear down. The maintenance, upkeep, and certainly the capital work would come through the public works side.
Do I have a mover? Councillor Ritzman-Taninga and seconding. Councillor Vauden. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion? Carried. Okay. In 6.8, do you have anything you want to bring in? Dwayne? Okay. There's nothing in the correspondence. So, the Reeves activity report, we had an interesting meeting a week ago and some discussion. I would have appreciated more questions on other subjects that I think are pertinent to the municipality. I believe we had a good all candidates meeting on the Wednesday night of last week. There's a number of things that I'm checking with staff on some of the reports that were referenced in some of the candidates' speeches as to what is what. And I have been contacting a few other people for the situation as to opportunities for ministry grants, or if there is no grants available for certain things. And so that I'm trying to have some better knowledge of where we sit on what grants we might possibly be able to apply for, and what things that are, such as Green Energy Act has been withdrawn. That takes out a number of grant opportunities, especially for municipalities. So that I will conclude my remarks on that. Is there things that some of the council members would like to speak on as to what things that they may have came up with information on since last meeting? Councillor Stewart.
I'm not just sure this is the place for it, but back when I submitted my letter, when I was interviewed by council for this position, I indicated that one of the meetings in October I was going to be absent from. And it's for a previous commitment that I committed to several months ago. And that meeting is actually going to be our next council meeting. So I just wanted to make council aware that in all likelihood, I will not be here for that meeting.
Thank you for that. I was aware of that right from the beginning, and that we thank you for the commitment, and you've been straightforward with us on that. Thank you. Anything else from council? Okay. That takes us to bylaws. And bylaw number 85, 2018, being a bylaw to amend the Wingham Trailer Park operating agreement. Barb?
Bylaw number 85, 2018, being a bylaw to authorize the reeve and clerk to sign on behalf of council an amendment to the Wingham Trailer Park operating agreement between the Township of North Huron and the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 180 Wingham. Be introduced, read at first, second, third, and final time, signed by the reeve and clerk, and be engrossed in the bylaw book.
Councillor Hallahan moving. Councillor Ritzma-Tenenga seconding. Pardon me. That, any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Bylaw number 86, 2018, being a bylaw to enter into an agreement between the Township of North Huron and the Service Line Warranties of Canada, Inc. Barb?
Bylaw number 86, 2018, being a bylaw to authorize the reeve and clerk to sign on behalf of council an agreement between the Township of North Huron and Service Line Warranties of Canada, Inc. Be introduced, read a first, second, third, and final time, signed by the reeve and clerk, and be engrossed in the bylaw book.
Councillor Sype and Deputy Reeve Campbell. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay. Dwayne, I'll let you make an announcement.
Thanks, Reeve. So tonight, North Huron is pleased to announce that Vicki Luttenberger has accepted the position of Director of Recreation and Community Services. Vicki brings with her 27 years of municipal recreation experience, having worked with the Township of Wilmot, which is in the regional municipality of Waterloo. Ms. Luttenberger has held the position of Manager of Recreation Community Services with the Township of Wilmot for the past 15 years. And she has extensive experience working with the public, nonprofit, and private recreation sectors. She understands rural communities, having worked and lived in the rural community, and she knows the important roles of volunteers, minor sports, community organizations, and corporate sponsors, and the role that they play in the success of municipal recreation. She holds a diploma in Recreation Leisure Services, a certificate in Municipal Administration, and she has completed numerous courses in the areas of mediation, leadership, and management. She'll be assuming the position on October the 22nd, 3 weeks today. And her initial focus will be working on the draft 2019 budget and looking at and starting to give consideration to a recreation master plan, which is something that council has put in their 2018 budget. Hoping and looking for that to be completed perhaps in 2019. She will be attending the North Huron Council meeting on November the 5th. So that'll be her first attendance at council. So we're looking forward to having her come on board with us, and she's bringing a lot of experience and background, which certainly will be an asset for us.
Okay. And in other business, that we have printed the petition that was received and discussed by council on January 15th, 2018 as being open and transparent and showing what we looked at. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, this just came in by email, so if I could, with council's permission.
With council's permission. The smile you gave me, if it's this good, by all means, let us know.
No, it's just further to, so just to make council aware of the Rural Talk Symposium that's being held in Blythe. It's being held October 17th to the 19th. And an invitation has been extended to council to attend. And I have an agenda and I have a lot more information here that I'll share with council, but it's being held again October 17th, 18th, 19th at the Blythe Memorial Hall. So if there are any members of council that are available or interested in attending, if you could let staff know and we'll make sure you get registered.
Councillor Site.
I was just asked to get the information on the agenda, so maybe I can determine if I can swing around to make things work in my schedule. I know Peter had sent myself an email about the Rural Talks to Rural, so I had it in my calendar, but obviously I need to understand the agenda and where it can work. So if that can happen, then I'll take a look at it and I'll be making sure that I'll send something to staff.
I
Councillor
plan
Vaughn.
to attend.
Okay. But, and that is still open to the other council members as they look at their schedules and see what time they have available. Okay, thank you. Okay. Point 13. Closed session of reporting out. You have a motion to go in camera. Councillor Syke, Councillor Hallahan, all in favor? Carried. We will have a short recess.